in my cover letter, part of it also morphed into what mimics a park. Okay, where the herb garden and that part is at. Okay, that, which is beautiful, but that mimics more of a park to me. That part, and it's an open space. So now the rest of it, that's garden. It's garden pure. It's all garden, but that piece mimics more of a park space. Okay, and so that's where we're going to have to work through on as far as inclusivity.
And originally it wasn't meant to be that. It was meant to be a garden. I mean, basically everybody gets a plot just to grow garden. For whatever reason, that didn't happen. And I'll tell you what, it's gorgeous. Everybody should be very proud of it. We understand that people come from long ways to see it and all that, and the city should be proud of it. It's not what it was meant to be. We need a garden. And then I think there is more garden area there too. And also, just going through it, I don't really see a lot of garden area, to tell you the truth. I see garden area, but I don't actually see any garden there. So as far as food going to the food bank or food going anywhere, I don't really see that as producing it. As far as a community garden, I think a community garden is a great thing. And Eugene, as you said, Eugene has several of them. We have that site over there. There's actually other sites in town we use too. If it turns out there's not enough, that's kind of where I'm at. Is I would like to know how many people actually want to have a garden. How big a plot do you really need for a garden?
I guess my only frustration is the fact that Miss Anna May is an original founding member, and she's a tax-paying citizen of Oak Ridge, and Miss Modis is not a tax-paying citizen.
Correct.
So, excuse me, she's not a tax-paying citizen of Oak Ridge. She doesn't live in the city of Oak Ridge, and by using that facility, you're the community garden, which was originally designed for community gardens, to an organization that doesn't found its roots in the city of Oak Ridge.
My perspective on this is, I don't know who would want to grow a garden down there. It's all rock.
You're right. When I went down there, I felt the same way. I did think it was beautiful how they had it set up.
Yeah, sure.
But if you went down there and you've seen all those rocks that come down in a staircase, these two people hauled those rocks all by themselves. Without anyone else in the garden helping them, they brought down they used a hand truck after a while. That's the part of the beautification of that is that people have been excluded who've been from the very beginning hauling rocks for hours.
That's one issue that we're going to take up is the excluding people. I mean, we can't exclude people from the city property. It's basically, like we said, it's almost a park, so it's practically a city park. You can't exclude people from a city park.
But if you look at, Councilor, if you look at Article 2 of Section 1 of Article 2 on membership, it allows the board members to do exactly that. But
this is your membership thing, whatever.
Right.
Well, see, we don't necessarily believe that that's applied to anything in the cities. I don't know who came up with this thing and who. I mean, you could write up a something saying that disagrees with this and bring it to everybody and say, well, these are the rules, and that doesn't mean they're the rules. It just means you say they're the rules.
Right.
So who's going to enforce the rules and who's going to write the rules?
Well, actually, did you see the one from Eugene? I mean, Eugene has a set of bylaws that they use for theirs, and does everybody kind of agree with what the city of Eugene had for bylaws to a
Well, I'm the one who met with the city of Eugene, and I thought that was exactly what we needed.
Well, there you go.
Bylaws that work just
we
like
pretty
that.
much agree with you.
Okay.
And that's kind of where we're headed, and that's the way that park down there has to be too. That cannot be a private park. It cannot be.
It cannot.
Okay, well, good. See, then we're all on the same
And being a
page.
citizen
But
of
there's
Eugene.
But even
Hold on.
after
Point of order.
Right.
That the council will recognize, folks.
We're sort of talking about two different things. One is people visiting the garden. The other one is watering, picking food. And the watering and picking food needs to be policed. It can't just be anybody who wanders in can do what they like.
Coordinated.
Well, once again, my point is I didn't see food. I saw like 6 or 7 tomato plants and some squash.
Excuse me.
It takes 2 hours to water, long time.
There's only 10 beds there. First of all, I too am a founding member.
Whose beds are they?
Because we've been there 6 years, we do understand that, okay? And we have a record of taking, I just took 6 pounds of blueberries to the food bank. We have a record of that. This is some of the supposedly inedible food, and it always goes first down at the food bank. This is from over there.
But it's from the, herb garden?
Is it from the
No.
herb garden?
No, this is Swiss chard. Where's it from? You know, it's from the vegetable garden there. And we got started, because we were not able to put up our greenhouse, we were not able to put starts up. So we got, because we're working in cooperation with Food for Lane County, we got those starts that are in there. We've already gone through one harvest and we're going through another harvest. It's, you know, the other thing is, we tried having a traditional, you have a bed, you have a bed. People were not showing up to maintain their beds, and so we tried to rethink it to make it more plausible. The other thing is, as exclusivity, I have never excluded anyone except for maize, and that was only because of an attack.
Okay, go ahead.
So I have a couple questions and one clarification. So the city is willing to find a spot that has water, that is like the traditional community garden where each person is in charge of their own spot.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
Great. So my next question is, does the garden out there right now at Salmon Creek receive financial support from Food for Lane County? Grants or scholarships?
You'd have to ask me.
Because we were under the UWCDC, we were able to apply for a grant from Food for Lane County, and I received a greenhouse that, and that greenhouse was not able to be put up, and then a grant.
Why wasn't it able to put it?
Bylaws and stuff.
No,
So the grant, what was the
FEMA
amount of
issues.
the grant?
FEMA.
$1,500, and we had we got another $1,500 from Danielle Bowerman, the creator of the garden, and Danielle sent me an email. You know, I just want, from the very inception, there's pictures of me writing that garden, okay? From the very inception, I said that we need to be as much a part of the garden as food. Other community gardens are run like a truck farm, and I felt that it was important that we have this specialized, beautiful area, which are also medicinal and edible herbs. There are edible herbs there, and we can use those, and we've given them to Food for Lane County also. But that's for everybody to come, a place of peace and beauty, and the reading program's coming down. It's not exclusive, but it's awesome. And CDC still oversees that?
Hold on. She's got it. Who did
I'd like
you
to ask a
get to?
question directly to you.
Yes.
Did you or did you not go over the city's head by putting in and bringing in people from the outside, which we already know that's true, and also ordering that 20-foot by 20-foot greenhouse, and you did not contact not one of us neighbors to put that in? You went over his head, you went over his head, okay? The other thing, there is no charge, none of this. There's flowers, this is lavender.
This is from the garden, and I don't know what you're talking about. I just picked this today. This is, so please.
That's kale.
That's kale.
This is not kale.
That's,
Yeah, what is it, guys? Do you know?
Where's the greenhouse?
There is none. It
was
was,
purchased.
it was,
It was blocked
sold
by
it.
people who were more interested in their own.
Well, you
And
just said it
in
was
deference,
purchased,
Yeah,
you know what?
where is the $1,500 greenhouse?
where is
Well, we,
We live by.
it? Is that your house?
no.
Slow down.
You all need
one
to,
at a time.
Everyone
you need
is
to go
asking.
through, you need to go through the counselor.
Yes.
Okay, to start with, where is the greenhouse?
The
Where is
greenhouse
right
was
now?
purchased by another member.
Where is it right now?
It's at my house.
It's at your house.
I paid for it, paid her the
You
money
paid for the greenhouse.
To reimburse
to
the
reimburse her
money.
because she couldn't put it in. I said, I don't need a greenhouse, but I'll put up the money because
I thought
Food for Lane County bought it and then you bought it from her, or how?
Not from me.
Or from the garden?
From the
Yeah,
garden.
I do not,
Yeah.
all I do is
So Food for Lane
facilitate.
County bought it, and then you bought it from Food for Lane County?
Well,
And the money went back to Food for Lane County?
I don't know where the money went, I just paid for it and, because I don't need it, but she needed help.
And-
So
And who keeps the books for
Where'd
this?
that money go?
The UWCDC, they're a 501c3, 20 years. They do the food box, they do community service all through there. The money is not mine.
Counselor, I have a question. I want to know, it sounds to me like the Upper Willamette Community Development Corporation is no longer the steward of this garden and that they've backed out.
That's not true.
No, they are, let me point of clarification.
Okay, good.
Please.
They are still
Okay.
the fiscal agent.
Okay.
So they are
Got
still however, you are correct, in regards to the physical garden, that is correct. They have no say, they do no input to the physical dirt. However, fiscally, they manage their funds.
So they're financial monitor.
Correct.
Well, I have a question, because if they are in charge fiscally, shouldn't one of the representatives have been here today to actually tell us the facts of this money? I mean, because Louis, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, if people are purchasing stuff that was paid for from funds from a nonprofit organization, that's actually a crime. Unless it's a.
You're making
What?
an assumption.
Yes,
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 Things
yes.
are
Something that's been here.
Not necessarily. That is on our list
Okay.
of people that we do need to talk to have a good, frank discussion with them as a board.
And I guess part of the question is, if we start another park over there, another farm, garden, whatever, will they sponsor it?
Don't know.
I don't think that the CDC will, but I'm pretty sure that after talking to a member of the food bank in, Food for Lane County, they will. I mean, they just told me that we missed out on a grant because we're not a community garden anymore. We just missed out on a $15,000 grant from Johnson Brothers Farms where they would have stocked all of our beds with actual produce, and we missed that. So
Well, go
they
for
were
it.
willing to.
Go for it.
You know,
Already missed out on it.
actually, that's,
Go,
Well, that's us.
dance,
Hey,
go.
to be honest with you,
Y'all need to stop.
the thing that pervert this whole thing is money.
Right.
You know, so, I don't know, that's necessarily a bad thing. Money perverts everything, it really does. Go ahead.
I wanna just, make sure that everybody understands that, Mama's lies, and she didn't, there was
Well,
never
hold on,
any-
wait a minute. Well, here's why we're here. Number one, we're here to review their user agreement and their bylaws to ensure that their bylaws are legal, number one, because we can't discriminate, okay? One of the primary reasons that we're here. We're not here to throw slander at each other.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm the one that was discriminated
So
against.
to address that correctly,
Excuse me, this is the victim right here, Bill.
Excuse me, Gina, your turn.
So, excuse me for playing catch up, I just want to know who all the players are. So we have we have CDC who's in charge of the financial agent. We have the Educational Garden Board, and they oversee the bylaws, and so who all is on the Educational Garden Board?
I would be happy to give that to you individually.
Oh, I saw that on Facebook.
Okay.
I read that on Facebook. I'll
Yeah.
email you later. And
That's right, because I've had the
yeah, I
people
remember
that-
reading that. I
Yes.
understand totally.
So you,
So I'm good. I just want to get the key
I would
players and
ask
what's
that,
going on.
I would ask that, first of all, that the board membership be only to citizens of the city of Oak Ridge. And the second thing would be that only citizens of Oak Ridge be allowed to participate in a community garden that's on city property, that's paid for by taxpayers of Oak Ridge.
Because we
That's all I'm asking.
can't participate living in
But
Oak
only
Ridge.
members
We
of the
can't
board.
participate in any that Westford would start, because we don't live in the city of Westford. That's what we would like to ask.
Only city citizens.
Just
be
like the
allowed to
library
participate
works
in
and
this
other
garden.
Okay, here-
organizations.
The library is
and here,
actually
I
open.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it, but I also understand that the time this thing started, and there was I think what's happened is there was a period where everybody lost interest, and maybe the novice kept interest, and actually, started going her own way, and this thing was kind of become her baby, you know? And I don't, and the hard part is gonna keep the other one from doing the same thing, you know?
I would agree with you, but even at city council, which you were at obviously, you heard Mavis speak about, she pointed fingers, like Louis said, we weren't gonna make accusations, which she did today again, say that this all started because she was attacked. The only people that were kept out is these two people. I recommended to them that they go down to the police department today, ask for every single police report. They did. There was no police report on file where they attacked, I'm still speaking, please.
Oh, I can't tell.
Where they were, you don't have to be rude, I was talking.
Okay, go ahead.
There is not one police report downstairs, Lou, where these people attacked her. So that statement is false, okay?
Well-
The only police report on file downstairs states that these guys were originally part of the garden, kept going down there every day because they lived right next door, watering every day, which Mavis told us at city council. If you look in the minutes, you'll see that. It's still their baby as well. They have been excluded, even last week.
No, I don't.
Last
It's a
week,
public
after
meeting.
city council, they were still asked to leave the garden. They're still being discriminated against.
Well, and that's why we're here, okay?
Me too.
That's why we're here, is to try.
And you know, that is all then, and this is now.
Hey, Councilor Bickerstaff.
Yes,
Well, Mr.
yes, so we're not going into ancient history on this, we're trying to go from this point forward, because there's nothing we can do about that, unless everybody wants to just tear that thing up down there and start from scratch. It's a beautiful thing, we do just the way it is, and we'll work through that. That is one issue, and this is another issue.
We wanna turn over.
Let's get a garden going, because quite frankly, I don't think, like I said, I wouldn't want to put a garden down there.
Right.
And there's actually spots for probably 10 more plots down there, the size of those plots, but I don't really see us how the size of those plots.
And this
would
real
be-
raised beds, because
yeah.
like you said, the rocks.
Yeah. I think we should all just kind of concentrate on that over there and just agree that the brought us from Eugene is a reasonable way to run this thing. We'll have to change it over to where it's open.
Up to the groups that want to
Correct.
do this, not us, okay? We'll facilitate water, we'll facilitate property, and we'll review.
No, I think it should be up to the city to agree to do this, because, I mean, we do not want to micromanage anything, we do not want to do anything, but we don't want to be back here 2 years from now, because the same thing happened down there.
well, I'm not-
The city needs to.
Counselor, I'm not saying that we not do review of what they put together. I'm saying, yes, we sit down with them, because we're gonna have to do a user agreement with them anyway. So yes, we will be involved in the finalization, but the initial piece needs to be on that group. If they want a garden, they wanna put this stuff together, they need to put that together. Then we sit down with what they've put together and come to agreement with the user agreement. If we could, I think you wanted to speak. Did you hear what you wanted to hear? If that's okay,
I just wanted to ask, because in all of this discussion, there's confusion over who actually owns that property there. Can you clarify, the city, or is it the people that manage that river?
Well, no, the city owns it, and and Sherry was good enough to show me where the city gets jammed on the deal. We own it, but we have to follow a lot of the core rules.
The Corps of Engineers?
Yes. So it's a mess on how it's set up, but basically if it falls apart, we gotta fix it. Anything that happens to it, the city has to fix.
Like my sidewalk.
Yeah. I don't even know where that's going.
I love that one.
So the key issue is, A, we want to solidify something for the current garden. 2, we want to get something going for those people that are interested in another space. Okay, so.
We really like our garden back.
I just want to address the membership issue. That's the most important article that I can see in here. Article 2 membership. It allows the council to exclude people in the council, and just on a whim. They can be, if they're not a good match for the garden, they can exclude them.
We've already,
Is this back to that one?
Hold on. Steve, hold on. We have addressed that. We are aware of that, and that's one of the areas that we already struck out on our working copy. So,
And I think
so,
founding members of that garden should be automatically put on the board.
And see what,
Not if
what
they're
we'd like to do is
automatically.
with the one.
Because
They'll be outgoing,
If
it
people
doesn't
look
make
at
any
work.
difference.
If they hold
I
on,
need an
they
agenda
want
for this one.
the right to sue the city for discrimination if they started from the very beginning.
and they're welcome to do that if they want to, but we
Go ahead.
are attempting to correct the issue.
No, but this is the only copy we didn't
And
get,
what-
this
and what-
copy, this is the copy we got.
Yeah,
and
yeah, we're working on all this.
Whatever, you know, we decide as far as, you know, taking the Eugene rules, bylaws, and making it work for Oak Ridge, that applies to everything in Oak Ridge. That doesn't apply to that garden,
I
that
would
applies
love
to
to see
both
that, yeah, I'd
gardens.
love to see that.
And everybody's gonna live by the same rules. I mean,
Oh,
that's just-
you
So
mean
why
that
can't this
garden
group go
is
get
gonna
another
be
spot?
like
Yes,
that?
we're gonna-
Okay,
they're gonna come with a set of
Can I
rules
ask
that-
you one thing? Because if I have the responsibility and I don't have the ability to protect my members, if I can't, if this project is to move forward, we have tried it in many different ways, and the project is to move forward, it has to be in a cohesive way, not in name calling and this stuff. It's, there was a police report. I do not like being called a liar. I am not lying. Bill is right here. He was with me. We went down. It was in the newspaper.
Once again, that was then and this is now.
Okay.
I'm not
but this
really
is the-
looking to rehash old stuff.
This is the issue because
No,
I have.
this isn't the
these
issue.
are
The issue
my
is,
volunteers.
Mavis, we're gonna start new. We're gonna start with a new set of rules. You're welcome to join in on these set of rules. You're welcome to, everybody here.
I
That's
cannot-
why everybody is here, is to get in on a set of rules that applies to everybody, so everybody is treated the same. You'll be treated the same as them, they'll be treated the same as you, and nobody's gonna be in charge of anything, except by the committee that is ruled to do this. That is not your garden down there. That's not your garden. That is city property. Ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm talking to you.
Are you talking
Ah, yes, I'm
about
talking
that?
to you. That garden down there is for the city. That is the city's property. There's nothing that belongs to anybody.
Right.
Nobody has the right to exclude anybody. Everybody has the right to go. We need to come with a set of bylaws that everybody agrees to, not just one that's written up by whoever wrote up the other one. Like I said, I would more than appreciate, I mean, if Louis doesn't want the city to be a part of writing this up, then you guys need to be a part of writing this up. You guys need to be,
I'm all for it.
we're all adults here. Everybody here needs to sit together and do this.
But we're not going back.
I could propose that we create a,
Pardon?
Looking back to to a community garden in the current situation, as it is now.
Which is what?
An
which
educational
is-
garden.
That's where everybody has to get along on this deal. It actually can work out
All
for
or
a community
nothing.
garden, because that's what it was given to you to be. Into something else, and we understand that, and to be honest with you, I'm all for leaving it the way it's gorgeous, and I think we should leave it the way it is. But everybody has to get along on this deal. We have another garden over there that has more land. Everybody can put a garden over there. Everybody can help with this garden down here. Everybody can visit this garden down here. Everybody can do whatever they want to do in this garden down here.
No, they can't.
Yes, they can.
Because you know what? When you have.
You know what?
Will you please listen to me?
No, you listen to me,
I've been
ma'am.
doing it for 6 years.
Wow, are you seriously
You
lying?
know?
He's the chair.
I don't know what to tell you.
Do not get in my face like that. I'm being offended because I've been trying to do something beautiful here.
And
I'm
I
being
have
called
said
a
how many
liar.
times that you have.
And, yeah, but you're saying now that I have to let people who have physically attacked my members and myself.
Once again, ma'am,
participate.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lou.
There we go.
What, let's everyone just take a breath. Counselor, everybody just take a breath for a minute and then we'll get going here. Okay. All right. The bottom line, okay, put it very simply. We gotta have bylaws that are fair for all. So if we've got more than one garden, 2 gardens, 3 gardens, doesn't matter. The bylaws have to be fair, they have to be legal, okay? Okay, they cannot be they can't be discriminatory in any way, okay? And bottom line is the property is that of the city. If today the council chose to go bulldoze your garden, they could. Is that mean? Is that not right? You're right, it isn't right, but they could.
Yes.
So that's why we need to collaborate here, everybody, because we don't want to go there. Because like the counselor said, it's beautiful,
can lose it.
We love it, I like it, I just took Counselor Baszler down there, he thought it was great, okay, but this back and forth, you did this to me, I did this to you.
What am I to do? I
Okay,
have to protect my people.
No,
Ma'am, I apologize if I got in your face, I did not mean to get in your
Yeah.
face, but the fact is, we do have to get along. Everybody here, you have to get along with them, they have to get along with you, and this whole thing will be under one umbrella. There isn't gonna be a set of rules for down there and a set of rules for up there. Everything has to be the same, and everybody here is equal. Everybody here will be treated equally.
Sir, don't we all want the same thing?
Exactly.
I do.
Food, I hope.
Counselor,
It's-
can we throw it down
Go ahead.
one more time?
Go ahead, Dawn.
She had.
I wanted to ask, I'm pretty sure that I already know the answer, but how many people in this room have applied for membership at the current garden? I know Anna Jane has.
What current garden? I wanna know.
The garden we're all talking about, the garden that Mavis is running, it has an open membership, there's a form to fill
Community
out.
garden or the educational garden? Because I'm not sure what it was called when I applied, when I asked for an application, but I was told I couldn't have one. That was 2 years ago.
Who
So
did you
what
ask?
date did this switch from being the community garden to
Probably
an
just
educational garden?
last year, maybe.
Of what?
I'm just trying to find out how many people here are members of the garden or have ever applied to be members of the garden. I know Anna Jane has. Dennis probably.
I was here 6 years ago.
Yeah, I asked you
Before
for
I
an
even moved
application, but
here.
you denied
I started
me.
with you.
Never.
Yeah, 2 years ago. We're gonna get back into what
Yeah, so-
happened a long time ago.
Yeah, so we're not.
Yeah, we're
So let's
dragging out
move-
stuff again.
let's
How
move
about-
Okay,
Go
well,
ahead, Gina.
my point in asking that question was whether or not it's okay for a organization, whoever that may be, and as a result of the end of this meeting, designs a set of rules and has membership, are they allowed to determine what their rules and their membership guidelines are?
The purpose of this meeting is for them all to come up with a set, did you read the one that was submitted from the city of Eugene?
No, we really shouldn't
we
talk
have-
about it unless we have copies.
It's online.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
wait,
right.
The city
Where?
website.
I read.
No, in Eugene, on Eugene's, on
I
the,
think it might be, yeah, under parks and open spaces.
okay.
I would send a copy from Susan, but it's a very qualitative
I provided a copy to the city council, it's 12 pages. but
application and.
Okay, I'll get it
It's a
from
whole
her.
system to it. And there again, who's signed up for it in the past and who's signed up?
Well, if you're a member, it would seem to make sense that you look into how the garden's being ran, but if you're not a member and you're just trying to say how the garden, why is that okay?
Because we're a citizen of Oak Ridge?
Once again, we're gonna get into.
But wait a minute,
we're getting to
it's,
point
the
of who says
property's
what to who.
donated, but the city doesn't
This is
manage the
important
property.
bylaws.
Right, well, one of the issues at hand was that
I
when
mean, the
this,
group manages
when
the
this
property.
occurred, is we, the city, didn't do one of these with them,
Exactly.
okay?
Okay.
We did not do a real property lease agreement with them.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean that they have to pay money, but we didn't,
It's
this
just
wasn't
an
done.
agreement.
No agreement was done on what's okay, what's not okay, and it wasn't. So basically, comedy of errors, so to speak, okay, unfortunately. So now we're at the point of trying to get something level and fair across the board. Now, as far as their bylaws, that look at those as a draft, because that's what they are. Okay, so my part and their part, it's a draft, because there are some parts on there that are questionable, okay? From a standpoint, if you're using city property, okay? So that's the key issue is, what I wanted Councilor Biggerstaff and I to do primarily was to sit with these three folks so that we could hash out those bylaws. However, what I'm hearing is that we would like to use Eugene's bylaws as a template, okay? And I think that's what I'm hearing from the chair right here, so I think what we need to do is get that out, is get the Eugene.
And then a copy of the one that Wallace gave it, and you let everybody compare the two and take the pieces of both to work.
I'm just real confused of, if we have individual plots, then people water at their choosing.
Correct.
And harvest at their choosing. In a,
There's no communal.
this garden has the areas that are common areas, and it needs different management. Or this spot might get watered 8 times this week and that one not at all. So I don't quite see how they can be the same.
You know, Mike, when I went through there, to be honest with you, what I found is there's 2 areas. There's an area that has like fences around it and the herb garden and all that stuff, and I would say that was a communal spot. And you walk around this tree and there's like 6 above ground plots over here. I mean, there's, well, in the first place, I just went over there to the tree. If somebody wants to put that in over there, and as part of a community garden, if she lives right behind, she shouldn't be able to put one in there. You know,
She can.
But may I ask you a question?
She can be member, have a plot, work within the system.
right, and that's what we're trying to devise, is a system. See, this is the problem here, and I, you know, once I'm not gonna get excited here, but what's happened is people can't get along. And I understand, I'm probably the hardest person there is to get along with. I understand this, you know, I do. I start doing something, I wanna do it my way. That's why I work best not doing this kind of stuff, you know? But this is a community garden, a community affair, a City of Oak Ridge community affair. And I agree with the whole thing about City of Oak Ridge too, to tell you the truth. Do you live in Oak Ridge?
No, I pay taxes here. I hear it, yes.
Outside the city limits.
And
Inside the city limits.
right
by you.
And as just to, we did try this, and what we had, we tried to, you know, Danny, first of all, I'm past president of the garden club 2 times. They have bylaws, they have membership, they have coordinated projects. There was nothing written down. When I got involved with this, the vision, and I wasn't part of that vision, was that it was an organic garden to teach people how to produce organic food and in sustainable ways.
Okay, and that's what you've come up with, and that's
But
what I'm
there's a
good.
little
But to
bit
be honest with you,
more
that
to
isn't
it.
why the city gave it to you.
Oh,
The city gave it to you as a community garden, where everybody can
Well,
have a
that's-
plot.
That's
and
how
then
they
certain
don't have an
percentage-
agreement.
Okay, we're
That was the
rehashing old
problem.
ground here. Go ahead.
Last year when I attended the CDC meeting, this is the issue that came up, is this was property given, CDC said, yes, we'll oversee it, and no bylaws were made up, no membership, none of that was organized. So the conflict we have is from the pure fact that none of this was put into place to begin with.
Right.
So, yes, we're all on the same page that that is the problem. We can't move forward until we get over the fact that that was done, bad things happened. We want to move forward, we have to decide what kind of garden we're going to have. That's really what we should be spending our time on doing. And the second piece I'd like to say is my opinion is if you do have a second garden, that each person is in charge of their own square plot,
And
that would have bylaws, I agree with you, because each individual person can water it. And the only thing that you would need for that garden is some bylaws to protect the city and someone who's coordinating the spaces of who's working what plot when.
And actually, if you read the bylaws, the one that from Eugene proposed, you do have to actually water, you do have to pick, you do have to spend at least minimum
Yes.
5 hours a week on your garden, and that is a requirement to keep
Yeah.
that plot.
And they're picked
Otherwise,
by
you give up
lottery.
that plot,
Yeah.
and the next person lies
Right.
with it.
Because someone couldn't go to your plot and say, this person isn't watering, I'm gonna water it for them. That's what I'm saying. Some rules around, if you think someone's not garden, it's none of your business, it's not your plot, is pretty much the
That
line.
there's to lose.
Yes, yeah.
And the worst bad thing about this, Gina would be the worst about it.
Hey, Councilman, oh, go ahead. And then Elizabeth next.
As far as everything that has been said, when the community garden first was established, the legality of it, which I totally agree with what you just said, it was put in place illegally. Louis and I have been working on this, and the committee and I have been working on this also, giving them information to follow up on what I found. They find the same thing. The thing that I have a problem with is dictatorship over anything and everything. I agree we need to go back to a community garden. I agree that we should be able to have our own plots. If they're abandoned in the bylaws, it should state that if you abandon your plot, it will be given to someone else either by lottery. Yes, that's a good term. The second thing that I have is that everybody that's in this community garden is the board.
Right.
They have everything to say about everything.
Once again,
Suggestions,
I really wish everybody would have gotten a copy of this one from Eugene to read.
I would have liked to have had it.
It's actually a very good, it's a very good template to use. I'm not saying everything in it is perfect. I'm just saying
but
that
that's-
everybody got together with this. I mean, it says what happens. I mean, basically, everybody's plot is their own. This is the size plot you get. If you don't use it after 3 weeks or whatever it is, then the plot goes to the next person in line. I mean, it's very structured.
And
It
see,
seems to have worked. And I'm not saying Eugene's the guy to end all of anything. You know, believe me, I'm not.
But
That's the
they
reason I
have
don't listen to
20
Eugene.
years. The reason I brought that to city council was because they have worked out the kinks for 20 years.
Yeah, they also have
Library
paid
has-
management. I think you're underestimating
You also
how
have
much
paid
record keeping and how much management all this takes. You know, I
agree that it
look
probably
forward
does
to
take a lot
seeing
of
this
work.
garden.
All I'm saying is,
Check,
it
just-
isn't working now.
Don't say that, no.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hold on. I know you want, she had her hand up for long.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And I don't know the district, and I'm just going to make an opinion. I see two groups of people, but no matter what you do, you are not going to resolve anything. I see Marvis having worked a garden, trying on land that really isn't worth putting Brussels sprouts on.
I agree.
I like
But
Brussels
she
sprouts.
and the members worked hard and got it going. The council never bothered. The council never gave them paperwork. The council actually were at fault by not putting rules and regulations. 6 years down the track, you then expect a little group that have worked when others wouldn't to then change the plans. In my opinion, Christie is looking at putting a community garden. Something that Oak Ridge has never really, because what's happened was no support from Marvis. They changed their criteria without anybody complaining
Nobody else was members.
But what I'm saying is,
If nobody knew, then everyone should know what went down there.
Hey, point of order, let her finish.
Go ahead, go ahead.
but what you've got now is an opportunity, and I don't know why you're all losing the plot. What you've got now is an opportunity of the city council giving you free land, quality land, good land, land to plant Brussels sprouts. Do what
Whoa,
well, you know what I mean?
Brussels-
I like Brussels sprouts. And what I'm saying is, with her venture that she seems to put an awful lot of time in, it was Christie's venture, and putting this plan together as a start for maybe a community garden or another, then go with that. I don't see why you would even consider destroying Marvis's work for 6 years.
It's not just
It's
her.
not-
It's not
it's
her.
not-
There you go.
So,
These two people have.
well, I'm talking Marvis because she's here.
They're here
she's
too.
there,
They're here too.
But she's, what I'm saying is that everybody's here as members.
Yeah, she's
So
lucky
I'm
that she
using
hasn't been
her.
excluded like these people. Yeah.
Jesus, give up.
You've had your hand up forever.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I thought at the beginning of this meeting, what was said was the educational garden is not going to change. It's going to stay exactly how it is, and we're going to move forward. So why are we even discussing this? Why are we not discussing the bylaws and the new park?
Because the city council.
And, you know,
I think there's
If the decision has been made,
If you go
or has
through
it
the
not?
bylaws of what was in the Eugene, nothing would change. I mean, that's what I mean, everybody should get a chance to look at this before we even argue about it, because you're gonna find that it actually, it's a good,
Well, you
it's a
do
good system.
know they have paid personnel managing those gardens now?
Go ahead, Sherry.
Okay, as far as people down in the Educational Development Corporation, Modestus Garden, okay?
It's not a corporation,
Well, whatever you named it, okay?
it's just a name.
The only people that I have seen within the last 4 years go down to this garden behind my house now, okay, Van Johnson has done the weeding, he does the weed eating, he does the planting, whatever plants that come in, which are dead, half of them, and the trees that were donated were stolen and put in her yard and planted. Van Johnson has done everything with the exception of maybe 5 to 8, maybe even 40 hours of the work. Whoever goes down there, and the reason I know this is because I work in my backyard, which faces the garden, okay? The thing that I don't understand is why, when someone wants to plant potatoes over here, Mrs. Paws comes behind them, don't want them over here. And to me, that's a dictatorship.
I have no idea.
I will not sign a membership with her coordinator. I will not do it.
Okay.
Good.
Go ahead. Well, first of all, community garden is what it is, a community garden. No one special garden. Every member of this community, within the city limits, that is a resident, should have access to a garden if they want to put in a plot and grow something. Percentage of that naturally is going to the food bank, which is great. And that's the whole point, is feeding the people of the community. We are Lane County. And as far as food down at the other garden, there isn't that much food going out. We have right now berries that we planted 6 years ago.
Which we
on the
picked and
ground,
gave to the food
rotting,
bank.
because I think you and Anna went down today and picked berries, and most of them on the ground.
Most of them are on the ground, rotted, they're falling off because of the rain. No one has been down there.
But
We
yet
go
we are
down
not
there and
allowed
give
to
it
go
to
to
the
the
food
garden
bank.
because she has put things in the book
She has not pulled the
saying,
weed.
if you catch Dennis or Anna in the garden, call the police, they are vandals, they are not to be there.
Okay, Counselor. Once again, we're getting back into.
No, this is
I'm
recent.
all for it, I'm
Okay.
all for
You
having a
can-
gardening council that decides all of this. We could have multiple community gardens,
I
an
agree.
educational garden, all
Yeah.
decided
And
by one
the
gardening
thing about it
council.
is, if you have a good garden and they've already figured out how to get stuff to the city for the food bank and all that kind of stuff, they could actually, I mean, everybody here can help each other, you know,
Yes.
you can make, everybody can make each other look good, you know, you can
Guess my
show them how to
We could
build
make
a
it
garden, you know, I mean,
The
everybody.
The garden would be
can't.
alive
We're
if
not
I
members.
wouldn't watered it.
Well,
Pardon?
The garden would not be there had I
I'm
not
not
watered it
in
and
there.
kept it
Oh,
going.
it's pretty pretty
You
safe.
know,
All right.
I don't know what
Yeah, you're not getting it.
Just a second, guys.
I wasn't finished yet, but my biggest problem that I find with these bylaws is the exclusion of any citizen from membership in any city garden unless they're not a citizen of Oak Ridge.
Disagree with that piece, and this is why, because every one of us, okay, gets benefit from state taxes for the community, from county, from city taxes, because we have people who live outside the city who own property here and pay taxes. So when I use the term community, I believe community is the East County, us. That's community, not just the town. So now if you want to have certain rules on who sits on your boards, fine. But as far as membership, I don't believe, now we're discriminating. That's
Right.
what we were just talking about. Okay,
Well, I
so.
can
I've got a
discriminate.
red-
The city
I've got a
council,
red
the
line.
city council
Hear
of
from
Oak
our
Ridge
artists.
absolutely.
I live outside.
The city
I'm
council
being
of Oak Ridge can
discriminated
absolutely
against.
discriminate
It's a red line.
against any citizen who doesn't pay taxes in the city because that's who elects them.
Well, is there somebody in particular you're talking about?
Well-
Because according to Mava, she has property in the city and she pays taxes.
And she pays taxes.
Does she vote? Does she vote?
For-
Does she vote in
She
the city?
doesn't vote in this community.
You vote in the city?
I can just pay taxes, I don't have, no,
She does not vote in the city.
so I just get to pay taxes.
Well, I will let every,
Let's hear what Denise has to say, okay?
yes,
We can
so,
have an actual garden, though it looks like a truck
Well-
garden, I don't care. But it produces more food than what is going on down here. It can produce more food, and that's what we need to do. We really need to produce the food, the quality
So-
of the food.
so here's what I'm hearing, and Gina, fantastic, thank you. The facilitation, perfect. I like it.
Let's get back to that.
So here's what I'm hearing. We need to pull a copy of the Eugene bylaws. Okay, number one. Number two, we need to manipulate them, and as Gina said, to fit each garden, okay?
We should also have a copy of Novice's bylaws.
Everyone has it.
Just put with them so that everybody.
But yes, and they are here for the purpose of reviewing, scratching through, adding, that's what they're not in stone.
It's a draft, yeah.
Okay, not in stone, so that's the key. But bottom line is what I'm getting from the committee, correct me if I'm wrong, Counselor, is that there is no, they have no intent of wanting to knock down their garden, nor do they have any intent of doing anything like that, okay? Am I correct? Isn't that what we have? Okay, so there's no intent to do that, all right? However, the key issue is we do have to have bylaws that are legal and non-discriminatory, okay? And manipulated to each garden.
And what may end up happening, and I'm not saying it will, I'm just saying what may end up happening is because not the area where you got your that other area over there where there's more room, you may end up getting a couple more garden area in there, and they'll take care of it.
We have a membership already of people that are committed to organic, and the whole concept.
Do you have like a site you're trying to get in there?
Yes, I do.
And you have people on the waiting list?
We only have 10 beds. If anybody had actually come to me and said, hey, I'm down with this, I want to maintain an organic garden, it's the principles of learning how to work with nature instead of, it's not a truck farm. And that what makes it
and that's where we have a roadblock, okay?
They want to do their thing.
Right, it's
right, but
you can't have the same.
But it is
it's
a community garden.
vision.
Go ahead.
I would like to, this real property lease agreement, I would just like to say then, I mean, if we could start working on this, that, recitals letter B, it says city is authorized to lease use property for this private purpose. Let's change that word private to public.
Actually, I'm dictator.
Go ahead, young lady.
I've never.
What's your name again?
It's Louisa.
Didn't you ask for membership? And I said, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to ask.
That I would come on Thursdays
So we can coordinate.
So what is it that you want to say?
I went to in Eugene today to the Blair Street Co-op. It's a housing co-op with about 10 buildings that are on a block that they are together. And behind them, they've created a community garden for them. And I talked to the artist, Kari, who's painting a beautiful mural in Cosmic Pizza right now. And she said the way it went down, and she's been there for 20 years or so in this co-op place of housing, that they had 6 years of trying to do it as a production garden with this one woman trying to grow the most food for all the people in this housing co-op kind of thing. And she couldn't get any help. She couldn't get anything done, and it was a piddly garden that didn't do anything, and that's the way it was. So 2 years ago, they switched back to everybody in the co-op. If they wanted to have a little plot, they could do it. It, she said, is bountiful, and everybody's helping, and tons of food is getting grown. And like one woman got some plants of roses from her grandmother's garden when her grandmother died, and they were selling the property, and she got those. She put those in her plot, you know, and that's all she wanted. And it works out for people to put their dedication towards the things they want to grow. Like I'm growing broom corn to make brooms. You know, that's a sorghum. It's a weird thing. Most people wouldn't want to do that. But I'm going to make a product
There's a lot of Scotch broom around. I really
Great.
don't have to grow anything to do.
Well, I'm going to make them out of both.
So Louisa,
So basically, you're saying it should be a
you're
community
quite
garden.
aware of a lot of alternative, different types of gardening, those kind of things?
Yeah.
Okay, now.
And I volunteered at the
Now-
grassroots garden in Eugene up on Coburg Road.
Okay, I have a question. So did you go down to San
I photographs with
Okay,
you.
so my question to you is this, because it sounds like you kind of know what you're talking about. Okay.
I resent that remark.
Okay.
Come on.
So down at Salmon Creek, how would that garden be described? How would you, what is that? Is that a communal garden? Is that an education? What is it?
Well, I would say it's not a production garden, except for the potato patch. It looks like that's a big bunch of potatoes trying to get grown.
It's not very productive right now. It's delightful as far as these lovely little patches that somebody could drill as dirt and 50% is rock. You have to put a lot of labor into making those rocks into beds, but the walls are clean. They're not creosoted railroad tie. Beautiful. So it's got a lot of potential, but it'll take a lot of personal attention. If somebody's given a little patch of the Mother Earth that they get to make into their bed, they're going to put in a lot of hours into digging out those rocks and making the beds, and then getting dirt or making dirt by composting or getting leaf mulch. But the city, you know, like all the cooperative things you can do together would be great to get, like in Eugene,
Well, if you could
big
just,
piles of leaf
what I,
mulch.
if you could just stay on point on the garden for me at this time.
Okay, it looks
So-
like a park and it's absolutely beautiful, and I think you need to get a place with thick dirt to grow production, and you should get a farmer paid for by the city to be coordinator of all the volunteers.
All right, you can stop right there, Louisa.
And
Ain't happening.
That's true for this town, a production farm away from the rock bed.
You had something you want to say?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
With water,
Go
that's the
ahead.
whole thing, is that faucet with the water is what everybody wants.
I kind of know what Mavis is interested in, but I don't really know. I'm new to town,
Right.
and I'm kind of curious. What is it that you really want? I mean, because I know we've had this in the past, but what is it that you guys want out of a garden? Is it that you want to have control back of the Salmon Creek Garden, or is it you're happy to produce stuff somewhere else? What is it? And I'll start.
Good question.
I don't want control of the garden. I don't want control of no garden.
Right.
All I want is a place to grow food for the community, for the people that need it. I mean, there's too many people starving in this town. They're begging for food, and they get ran out in the garden down there. Several have gotten run out.
So you want to get back down there?
Well, no, not necessarily. It doesn't sound like it necessarily has to be down there. So I'm just trying
That
to.
never happen in a community garden.
Right.
If someone wants to come in and they are hungry, homeless, I don't care where they're from, if they come into our city and they are hungry, by all means, if you can feed yourself and fill your, by all means, go for it.
And that's why we have the cattery too, I might add.
Well, that's why we had to call the police too.
Go ahead.
Right, so what I'd like to see happen is that, first off, there are people, not just Mavis, but other
That
people
includes
who were
you.
in the inception of this garden.
Right.
And they are bought into a lot of hard work in this garden.
Right.
Like the grapes were planted by Dennis and Anna Jane May, and I really, it drives me nuts. This is the face that we get. Okay, this is the face that we get.
Well, but Linda, we just want to hear your point.
Okay, okay,
So present.
So bottom line of this is there's some hard feelings, as you can tell, between
Right.
people because originally the garden down there was gonna be a community garden, and Mavis made it into a beautiful setting that she did.
Not just
What they want is a
Mavis.
community, they wanna go back to just a community garden.
No,
The
but
And that's what we're
people,
trying to
the
set up
people
here.
that
But
were
do they need,
working
like, they
on
really
this.
need that to be a community garden? I mean,
There could be another
they put a
garden,
lot
is
of
that
effort into
right?
it, so if they want to, if they're willing to let go of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to talk them into it. We don't wanna ask them, we wanna talk
Why
them
do you
into
have
it.
to choose?
Do they have to choose?
Why do they have to choose?
Well, exactly, so I'm not saying that you have to choose, I'm
Okay,
just.
can I finish without looking at her face? I know, that's inappropriate, I'm sorry. I would like to see that Salmon Creek Garden also be a community garden where if I have my own plot, which maybe twice the size of this table would be perfect for me. You know what I ate yesterday for dinner? I had corn pudding. You know why? I'm serious as a heart. I get food box. That's the only thing that feeds me. There are over 1,000 people in this community that get a food box every single
1,500 people
month.
a
Month.
yeah.
MONTH. You get it?
Yeah.
We need food.
Right.
We need a good place. We need more than just 2. Maybe we need 3. But we don't need one committee. We don't need one group that tells us how to grow our food, where to grow our food, what to grow in our garden. I believe that those people, if they had a community plot down in that Salmon Creek Garden, which we all have grown, it's a part of our community and our hearts too. If we had noticed that the apple trees, I'm not stupid, if I know that Asian pears need water, I'm perfectly capable of putting the water. Okay, I want the garden back, and I also wouldn't, now that the city's offered, by God, let's have another garden.
To answer your question, I'm a police officer with the city of Oak Ridge, okay? I have two reasons that I want to see this. First of all, I don't like any citizen being excluded from something they started. That's one reason. Second reason is I like to increase, I'm not talking to you. I like to increase.
Hold on, now, all she asked was how about her as far as exclusion?
Oh, I don't wanna see you excluded. I don't wanna see anyone excluded. But I also don't wanna see Anna Mae or any other person excluded. Okay, the other thing that I wanna see is I wanna see the legitimate usage of city property to decrease illegitimate use. I don't want criminals and other types of activity going on in all these city properties, okay? So, having other community gardens in different places, that's a great idea. All I'm saying is that if we create a community garden council that has all of the community gardens under one umbrella, like that has board members that are elected by its entire membership, and that plots are decided by lottery.
Right.
That's fair.
Or there's enough plots for everybody, right?
That would be great.
There's up there at the garden, at Salmon Creek. It didn't work when we tried it before, even incredible amount of energy these people have for it.
Everyone here wants to have a plot.
So, you know, that, amazingly, they get the water, but all the weeds are grown, unless I'm down there, I don't understand that. But what I would, how about if we eliminate the vegetable part altogether? And let them have their vegetable truck farm wherever, and let this be something special for the garden, special, that'll be something wonderful for the city, because that was the idea. And you know what, the food goes to Food for Lane County, but what they were doing was saying, yeah, come on in and pick it. Well, I have to keep records. I get little chits that says it's measured and weighed and taken in. I have to keep records so the CDC can go for grants and stuff. They have the hours. I have the records of the hours that people have put in there. You know, it takes coordination. And what I had with the maize is that the grape stuff they planted, they wanted to put a big tree right in the middle of the herb circle. I said no. Where the seating is supposed to be so everybody could gather, they put a grape without any coordination or asking or saying, is this a good idea or not?
Okay, well, listen, she's talking about me. I brought that grape down from our house, Anna and I did.
Yeah.
The big grape arbor was built. We put it at the edge of the grape arbor so it could climb the arbor. We put in the wire and everything so it'd have something to vine on. She complained about, because it was, she wanted it over this way. I said, why put it there? Because it can't reach the arbor.
No, that's not true.
Okay, so, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. The bottom line, none of that matters at this point. No, it doesn't. No, we're trying to move forward.
Yeah, the
None of that
bylaws, the
matters.
new bylaws will prevent all this. Have a plan now, right? So you can coordinate.
But I cannot, these people want me to be involved where they're.
Well, point in a minute.
Okay, well, let's get to the crux of this matter. The point is, we want to make some bylaws that everybody. In my opinion, this is my opinion, I think we should use the Eugene bylaws as a template to do this. We can take the bylaws that you've got and add them or subtract them or whatever into the Eugene template. But I guess the first thing we need to figure out is who's going to be the committee to do the bylaws. So who would like to be on this committee to do the bylaws?
All of us. Everybody who's working in the garden.
Everybody here wants to be in the bylaws, okay?
Okay,
so you all filled out
we got your names.
Did everybody sign up on the sign-up sheet?
Nope. I just would like to say that I don't think the new garden would have to have as much paperwork as you have to have, because it wouldn't be getting money from Food for Lane County. It'd have to be accountable for the money, unless someone is going to be writing grants and have that accountability. If it's a community garden to their lot, you don't need to keep track of all that paperwork. It's for yourself. So it wouldn't have that governmentship that say the garden that you're running, because of the fact that it's not an educational garden. It's no accountability to a financial source. It's each individual person providing for themselves. So for that piece, for that garden, it wouldn't need the governmentship that this one would need.
And I would really not like to have to do this anymore. This is hurtful.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line is this, is I will tell you this, you all are not ever gonna get along. You're not gonna get along, okay? I've been around folks for about 35 years. I can tell you, you guys will not get along, okay? So, the reality is, it is in the best interest of both of these groups to A, let's solidify what they're doing, B, let's start a second garden, and C, if we need to work towards a third one, then we'll talk with the council at that point. Because bottom line, you're both hurtful to each other, and you'll never get along. So, that's a fact. So,
I got 156. Will they say the community supports
got our support.
the Salmon Creek to be I put my butt off to get signatures on a petition, and you're gonna ignore it?
well, we're represented to the council, and they could, and yes, you could.
So what difference does it make, you just like, where the basketball court is, in sunshine and decent soil and food, or if you go down to Salmon Creek and move rocks to grow food?
It doesn't, and we take the rocks that we put all down there at Salmon Creek.
It doesn't.
No, what's down there is being.
It doesn't.
I'm just kidding.
I agree with you 100%. It doesn't matter to Linda Clark because she hasn't been a part of the garden. The only thing that I think that it matters to is people such as Anna Mae and her husband, and I know you got to read their letters that I submitted to you guys at City Council. They have a personal investment. They live right across, not as close as Cherry Gloucesterman, I'll give you that, but they are in walking distance, and they have donated a lot. You got to hear how they donate sheeting growth for the growth of the vines. They provided the vines. So then it may be a little bit different to say, here, we're gonna give you a plot over here by the basketball court, and you guys can start your garden, that's fine. And they will probably participate. They'll probably ride their bikes down there every day and work their garden and work their ass off, because they've done that already. But what's not fair is if we are going to do this where we use the Eugene template and it's an umbrella that covers every community garden that we have now or that we will create in the future, has all the same rules, I don't want to see people who have worked it for 6 years say, well, we created a new garden, stay out of the garden that you've helped for the last 6 years, because really that's not
Well, but,
Just a thought. What
you
if,
guys, they won't get along.
we kept that for the herb garden, the little centerpiece that it is, kept all that the way it is. You go around that corner and there's some raised beds over there. Are those raised beds a part of that herb garden?
No, it was presented to me, don't forget, we have 50 fruit trees that are already over there. We have,
50? I saw like 10.
No, there's 36.
Well, there
The other 30 is at her house.
see, I can't deal with these lies.
It's true!
We'll work, that's another time.
But you don't tell us.
That's for another time.
We understand everybody's not gonna get along. I'm just trying to figure out a way, if these people live across the street from the garden, why shouldn't they be able to go there and grow their plants?
Do you want me to tell you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was physically threatened by that woman. Physically threatened.
I'm
saying that, physically threatened by
So I find it hard to believe that.
She has
Okay, we're done. We're done. If we're gonna do this point, we're done. We'll just end the meeting right now.
Okay.
And I think we need to, but make sure that everybody has signed in, so we have emails.
Where's the
and
sign
that-
in?
Could I mention just one
right
other
there, I
thing?
So, it's right there, right there.
We also have one person that wanted to say something.
I wanted to mention one thing about how it works down in Eugene.
Go ahead, Louisa.
Yeah. In Eugene, like I paid for, in the Polk Street Community Garden, I was part of that for 2 years, and I paid per year. And so you can do a whole year. And that was at the River House, and they coordinated about 4 community gardens, and now there's about 8 or something in town. And for that one, I had to pay for the plot, assigned plot, and they were mad if I wasn't taking care of it, that the weeds would get to other people's gardens and stuff like that. And we had a board that would review each garden to see that people were getting to doing something. And there's another thing that they do, that if you donate hours to the communal work,
that's kept track of, and your payment can be exchanged. They do that in some places.
That'd be worked out on the bylaws.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, like I said, you need to look at this Eugene bylaws thing that's coming out, because it actually covers all that.
Okay.
And it, like I said, I'm not saying that the prices they set are the way it should be, or everything in this thing's the way it should be, but it's a very good template, and just write notes next to it, so
Okay,
somebody will have a meeting to.
so let's go ahead and I would adjourn. We're adjourned.
Sure.
Okay.
Do I get to keep?
I would like my pin back. I seem to be using them.
Thank you, man.
So I'll email out the template. I understand, but
I have no idea. The base station, they say their line. And like I said, this is, I can imagine how I would feel if I would have to kick some. I understand.
Could I sign that?
Yeah.
Here, Lisa.
Okay, all right.
I want the same amount of time.